Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. It's time for Travel Safely with Bryan Mulligan. Travel Safely is presented by Applied Information, creator of the Travel Safely smartphone app.
Welcome, everyone, to Travel Safely, the business talk show bringing you the latest in innovation from transportation and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Bryan Mulligan. Today, we're coming to you from the annual meeting of Applied Information's distribution partners on beautiful Lake Lanier in northeast Georgia. This show is sponsored by Applied Information, a technology company headquartered in Gwinnett County focused on using technology to save lives and improve traffic. We've got several guests today representing some of the top organizations in North American traffic when it comes to transportation technology and changing the world. These companies are responsible for delivering everything from traffic signals to the latest technologies from Applied Information to the thousands of the cities, counties, and states and provinces that operate roadways. Our first guests today are Roger and Philippe from Orange Traffic in Mirabel, Quebec, Canada. And Orange Traffic is our first international distribution partner north of the border and are working on some exciting projects in Canada. So welcome, Roger and Philippe.
Thank you. We're having fun.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's always important to be able to have a little fun while we do some important business of changing the world. Talk to us about what Orange Traffic does in Canada.
All right. Well, Orange Traffic, we're a manufacturer of LED signs. We do traffic cabinets. We do all kinds of distribution products that we sell throughout Canada and the U.S. And Philip, he's the guy who sold the job in Quebec City.
All right.
Do you want us?
He's our best friend.
Yes, exactly. I'll transfer him to Philip.
So you want me to talk about it right now?
Yeah. Please do. Because we've got this success underway in Quebec City. Talk to us what it's going to do, how it's going to change the world in Quebec City.
So we did sell your preemption system in Quebec City. Quebec City is a mid-size city. 400 intersections. So they didn't went out for a bid. Where we're going to put the preemption in there, 400 intersections and 80 trucks. So all the fire trucks going to be equipped with the Applied Information systems for preemptions.
What I'd like to do is to just interrupt you for a minute because most of our listeners won't actually know what a preemption system is. What does it actually do for the citizens?
Yeah. So when the fire trucks, he's on an emergency and he's approaching the intersection. So he's going to send a signal to the intersection to get the green light right away. So all the cars in front of him are going to move. And so it's mainly about safety and getting time, so saving time to get as earlier as possible to to their event, the fire. So.
And automatically, we will save lives. And that's the key here.
Right. No, and that's huge. There's something other interesting thing about the job that we're doing in Quebec, because TravelSafely, which is the smartphone app that allows the public to communicate with the intersections and the fire vehicles, which in North America does it in English, but as we were talking yesterday and showing in Quebec City, it's going to do it in French.
Yeah, I'm sure you notice our accent. Sorry.
Well, what accent? That's great. So what's the idea from there? Are there any other cities interested in this technology?
Yeah, for sure. It's already making children. All those mid-sized city near Quebec City, they already heard about it. So actually, there's another Three Rivers, another mid-sized city that's going to go out this fall with another bid. So it should be like 75 intersections. So really, it's just starting, but in the next couple of months, we're going to see some other cities following their steps, so for sure.
Roger, from your side, how do you see this playing into the growth of Orange Traffic and your plans for where you plan to take Orange Traffic?
Well, Orange Traffic, we want to grow. When we bought the business 8 years ago, we were 50% less than we are now, or even less than that. So the business is growing. We're always looking for new technology, and Applied Information, I think, is a great technology for us. It's growing. So yes, we have preemption, then you have school zone, and you have a lot of products that you can do for to sell other stuff. So it's a great product for us. It's a great line. It works with our blank count signs. It's all compatible. So DSRC and things like that. So we're happy.
All right, so what I'm going to do is put you guys on the spot, and for your French listeners who might be seeing this in French, tell them about this event here and give us a bit of a shout out in French.
You go for it. Ben, Applied Information, c'est un très bon système. C'est vraiment efficace. So, continuez à acheter, encouragez nous et Orange Trafic. On est content d'être ici. That was French, all right.
Oh, sounds absolutely fantastic. And do you guys sell your products here in the United States as well?
Yes, we sell a lot of blank-out signs, LED signs, traffic cabinets. We have a new ATC cabinet that is just out. We do sell a lot of ITS cabinets too. So we have 15 distributors in the U.S. So we do a lot of business in the U.S.
All right. So in fact, some of these distributors here with Applied Information also distribute your product as well.
Exactly.
So maybe I should actually send you a little invoice for half the cost of the distributor meeting. No, I'm just being cheeky. No, well, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me on the show and talking a little bit about Orange Traffic and where you guys are going and how you're going to take Applied Information into Canada. You got plans to expand in the rest of Canada, or where do you do?
Ontario might be an option, so we need to talk about it.
Okay, so no, Ontario. So gradually you working west in Canada as well. So well, fantastic guys. Thanks so much for joining me. And what I like to do is when you go back, travel safely.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So while we're changing over, our next guests, Jerry Priest and Ryan Zenzen from Paradigm Traffic Systems in Arlington, in the great state of Texas. And Jerry and Ryan have been working with us at Applied Information for a couple of years, and they've been pioneering the way in Texas with Applied Information. So welcome, Jerry and Ryan. Congratulations on 25 years in the traffic business. You both must have started when you were 12. Tell us about Paradigm and what has led to a successful quarter century for you guys.
Paradigm has built our business in Texas on service. When we very first started, we wanted to not only represent quality products, but one of the main tenets of our business is to provide service to our customers. And we think if we provide that good service with good quality products, they will keep coming back to us. And that has been a key to our success in Texas. And as I said earlier, Brian, in the introductions, hiring good people. And Ryan certainly is one of our good hires here and our VP.
All right, Ryan, so tell us about, you're based down in the Houston area.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about Houston and how that's led to your success with Applied Information and what you guys have done down there.
Well, Houston is the fourth largest city in the United States, so quite a few traffic signals, lots of opportunity, especially on the school beacon side. But kind of to echo what you were talking about earlier, in the meeting, the connected vehicle space, we're seeing that interest kind of just grow exponentially, especially with there's so much congestion, so much traffic in Houston. All these ways like TravelSafely or just connecting all these devices to these vehicles is really, really starting to garner a lot of support. And the higher ups at DOTs and these city agencies are really looking to move forward with that. But everyone's kind of waiting to see who's going to jump first. But once somebody does, it's just going to snowball. So we're excited about that. Excited about the future of that.
All right. So for those people, listeners who don't know what connected vehicles all about, Jerry, you want to give us the 5-minute, or Ryan, whatever the what's connected vehicles all about, and how's this going to help us save lives and improve the traffic?
I think Ryan could actually give a better description of that than I could.
Well, for me, it's kind of, I think what Applied Info does is connecting everything to everything. So we see the vehicles being able to connect to the traffic signals or the infrastructure, being DMS signs or vehicle to vehicle. All that's going to improve the safety on the roadways. And I think ultimately that's what connected vehicles is about the safety of the motorists, the pedestrians, whoever it is. It's just going to make a safer environment for everybody.
Yeah, and that's something that's become apparent is that the need for pedestrian safety systems is becoming more and more apparent. In the trade, they're called vulnerable road users, or VRUs. I mean, it's quite dreadful that we have to put these little 3-letter acronyms on everybody and everything, but nonetheless, cyclists and pedestrians are called VRUs. And you guys have been some of the early adopters of our new technology, which is called a PCSS, Pedestrian Crossing Safety System. So what potential do you see that in Texas? You're seeing a lot of pull for trying to make pedestrians safer?
Pedestrian safety has always been a hot button for a lot of agencies. Unfortunately, it usually takes some type of incident before they actually want to spend the money to do it. But we have started seeing more and more success with that. And certainly with y'all's devices that we're able to monitor and connect everything, it's a much more attractive package for these guys.
Brian, if I could add to that, I'd like to just add that the Texas DOT has made a commitment to have a connected vehicle task force. So back in January that was announced, and as they continue and start to have their meetings, we plan to get involved with that and get applied information involved in that to help them set the future for Texas and possibly other parts of the country.
No, that's great, because one of the things that the folks in the traffic business have been so worried about, it so focused on, is the radio technology which would make up connected vehicles. But while they've been worried about the technology for connected vehicles, the cell phone companies have covered the planet in radios that actually work pretty well. And so it's quite interesting to see that the folks like ourselves who collaborating with the cell companies through TravelSafely and apps, smartphones and things like that, seems to be now starting to resonate. Or maybe that's a sensible thing to do, as opposed to us in the government just building our own radio network. You think there's an opportunity for better private sector and public sector collaboration?
Absolutely. I think the apprehension for at least on the public sector side for these agencies was that they never owned their own communications. They've always been kind of worried that, hey, if it's going to AT&T, then after that, we don't know what happens. And I think that's always been kind of the thing they've gone, we don't really know what's going to happen, who's responsible for this if this doesn't work, and yada, yada, yada. But I think now they're seeing how robust they are and how far it's come and where it's heading with, of course, 5G on the horizon. I think they're much more apt to now pushing to that cellular market and seeing how easy it is to deploy and maintain.
Yeah, one of the things we did with you guys up in Arlington was a pilot corridor, which led to them in first buying the pilot corridor. Now my understanding is that the council in Arlington has met and approved a purchase for a bigger system. What's all that about?
You want to touch on that, or?
Well, Pat Murray was the one who sold that, but that has been a project that we've worked on, and we have used that as a demonstration for several other cities and counties in the area to come in and see what we've done. It's been very successful, and it takes a little time to get the public agencies to go ahead and adopt something and make a decision, but we're very, very happy because of the success there. They did, and the council saw. We actually took them for rides and demos, and once again they voted to expand it.
It's quite interesting to see sometimes that the cities lead the way with innovation and going first rather than the states. Would you say that's fair in Texas as well?
Absolutely. The state tends to wait, I guess. In this whole, traffic business altogether, everyone wants to wait for some of these standards to be met. We see it with the ATC cabinets. We've seen it with ATC controllers. No one wants to be the first out there to market, and the DOTs get very nervous about that. And so that's what we see. They want to wait till there's some standard already set by the feds or whoever else. Where the cities are a little more nimble in that regard, where they're going, this solves our problem right now. Let's go jump on it and let's try it.
Yeah.
And that's how we see them playing it out.
The other situation there is a city may have hundreds of intersections where Texas DOT has thousands of intersections. So to adopt something, city can do it on a smaller level and then decide to do it for the state to do it on a much bigger level, would want to see it successful somewhere first.
All right, so potentially that these first successes, like what you had with school beacons, lead to greater successes. We're excited to support you in that. And so I'd like to thank you guys for joining me on the
Thank
show
you.
and sharing their perspective from the great state of Texas. And on your way back, I'd like you to travel safely.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, appreciate you for joining me on the show. And so next, after the break, we'll head east and talk with our friends from Temple Incorporated, Forest and Winter. But first, we've got our traditional 30 seconds with Sarah.
This is your 30 Seconds with Sarah. In the Netherlands, where bikes outnumber people, Utrecht has devoted space to the largest bike park ever constructed. The building, which will hold 12,500 bicycles, is part of a larger initiative to encourage cycling in the Netherlands. The Dutch argue that cycling to work and school fights traffic congestion, improves the air quality, and has benefits for the user's health and wallet. According to the Dutch Statistics Office, 43% of trips in Utrecht are made by cycling, which leads to a great deal of bikes and scooters and traffic in the road. Look for the new facility to have full capacity later this month. Back to you, Brian.
Thanks, Sarah. Well, it's actually quite interesting when you think about that, the potential for cycling and scooting to potentially change the way we actually do short trips. It's something that we've been talking about here in Atlanta, where suddenly we went from one day the sidewalks being clear to the next day the sidewalks being full of scooters. So the next guests are our friends from Temple. That's Forest and Winter, who've been with us here in the Southeast and helped pioneer applied information into new markets. So I'd just like to welcome you guys and say thanks for joining me on the show.
Glad to be here. Heard a lot about the show and glad to finally be a guest.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No, awesome. Well, let's talk about the Temple story first. So talk to us about Temple and Forrest, your background, and your surname's Temple and the company's called Temple. There must be a link there, perhaps.
A little bit, yeah. We're a fourth generation family business, and if you ever want an opportunity to work for your family, I'm getting firsthand experience. A lot of relatives, and it's a lot of fun. It's a blessing, and so you have 65 years in the industry, and we've kind of been who we need to become over the years, and really over the last 5 years in our collaborations with you, it's been an eye-opener. We really enjoyed the journey, and so much more to go. I mean, so much more to do, And we got 9 states in the Southeast, and a lot of prime opportunities.
Fantastic. What's the Winter Horrible story? How did you come to be with Temple and part of this journey with us?
Well, they can always go back to our first show on Travel Safely, which I did not have my voice. That was shot. But thanks for having me back, Brian. I have an engineering degree. I'm actually from the consultant side. Some would say that's the dark side. But I've been on both sides, and they've got great things. I came to Temple about just over 8 years ago now. So I sell products now, and it's like Forrest said, almost 6 years ago when I met you, we're coming up on, a lot of stuff has changed. It's been fun.
That's been fantastic. Yeah, over to you first. How's your sense about the journey with applied information and trying to work with us to change the world? How's that?
One phrase comes to mind, and that's outside the box. Think outside the box, and I say it has been a journey. It has. It's been eye-opening, and as far as technology and filling the needs of our customers. I mean, 9 states. It's a lot of city, county, states. I mean, that's a lot of customers, a lot of people who rely on us, and to be able to take products and technologies like yours, and one excuse maybe. I don't have communications. Or, hey, I'd love to do this project, but I've got broken fiber here. Or I've got this, that, and the other. You've got a solution for everything.
No, that's fantastic. And one of the things I've been so privileged to do is, and that, Winter's based in the Metro Atlanta area where I'm also based, so I've been able to do some pretty innovative stuff. And you must have been quite apprehensive when you took us to your first customer out in Marietta, Georgia, and said, hey, give these guys a shot. They think they're going to change the world. What did that feel like when you didn't know us so well?
Well, it could have been also that I was sleep deprived since I had maybe about a 10-week-old about that same time I was taking you there. So I was probably a little crazy anyway, which was good. But, yeah, it was just a great customer. I got to tell that customer, listen, these guys have a lot of wonderful ideas. Now, whether or not it works, I'm not sure because I just met them. But I would like to try a lot of, this technology out in their area, like you to be first. And it was, as you got to know that customer, he was a pretty straightforward guy. So I knew I'd get honest feedback from him. And he fell in love with you, however that was, because I'm not
as awkward as that sounds.
Yeah, as awkward as that sounds. So, yeah, we've just gotten to and enjoy moving forward since then and making Marietta even better than what they started.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Forrest, that you must have thought, who are these crazy guys who are coming out with all this cloud computing stuff and Internet of Things and things like that? How did it strike you when you first got involved in this journey?
Well, I remember taking you on a tour of our facility and you telling me kind of what you do, and it's kind of like, I don't know. But after the Marietta thing, oh my goodness, we had to sit down. We had to sit with you, and so I mean, our first thought on day one is a lot different than our thought now. It's been a great
we managed to get into do this in hundreds of cities here in the Southeast with Temple, and very proud and grateful for the support and the collaboration that we've had over the years. But as we talked about yesterday, potentially we're just getting started. Right. And there's this whole business of connected vehicles which is coming, and we've got our first contracts together to start changing the world with getting away from the radios. When you want to talk about your perspective of some of these things about getting involved with this next wave of new technology and how we might save lives and improve the traffic?
I just think there's going to be a lot to learn here. I mean, and everything is changing every single day. One thing is it's great that we're starting to see the private sector and public sector start working together, collaborating. It's a must. The private sector, it's just easier for them to keep up with how quickly everything is changing. I mean, just in the past 2 months, there has been so much that has just the momentum of everything moving forward. So we are looking at what started 2 to 3 months ago as a 1,000 intersection project. We're now already looking in the upwards of 2,000 intersections that will be able to talk to, get ready for Ford vehicles as they roll out their 2023 vehicles in June of 2022, June, July. So it's just, that being able to communicate, being connected, having all these safety applications that we really get to look into and even try to come up with safety applications we haven't even thought about yet, because that's one thing. Through over-the-air software updates, we can kind of get ready for the things that we don't even have yet to even come.
Yeah, solve problems we haven't thought of yet is how we like to put it. And Forrest, how's that resonating back in your home office where for 65 years there's been a lot of slow change, and then now we faced it really at a rapid pace of change in the next little while? How's Temple feeling about all of that?
Yeah, there's true excitement, and you look at doing business with the public sector, which we've done for a long time. We continue to do. They are, they're very calculated in the risks that they take, and they look at funding and try to appease a lot of different people. I think when you look at the private and public kind of a partnership, you're taking that risk out of it. You're looking at, okay, what do our citizens, what do our counties and our cities, what do they want, and what's going to help congestion and improve traffic? How can we move our state and our city and our county forward? And we're showing them a way. We're showing them a very good way.
No, it's exciting to be involved in some really tangible things. And one of the things we do with getting paramedics to citizens in need, there's a great story which Chief Jackie Gibbs told us originally So I'm stealing his words when he says, if you want to, when we save roughly a minute of getting paramedics to heart attack, stroke, and accident victims, and if you want to know how long a minute is when you're having a heart attack, look at your watch and start holding your breath. And so you guys must be also enjoying the fact that some of our stuff has got real tangible practical benefits straight away. Winter, you can...
Yes, I think that is one thing that's actually gotten me more excited over the past few years and just back motivated to work with you guys to come up with solutions is the safety aspect. Just the fact that we can save lives starting today. And we don't have to wait for everything to pan out to determine, what FCC, what the federal government's going to make a decision on. We just move forward with the thought of saving lives versus not. I mean, that's the alternative is, we kill 40,000 people at least every year on the roads, and we've got to do something about that. So.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'd like to thank you guys again for joining me on the show. It's great to have you here, and I look forward to future great collaboration with Temple as we move this forward.
Absolutely.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
All right, guys. Today we were coming to you from the annual meeting of Applied Information's distribution partners on beautiful Lake Lanier in northeast Georgia. Thanks to these five companies and our partners who are helping to make the world a better place. Until next time, this is Bryan Mulligan signing off from Business Radio X, and travel safely.